Good morning, everyone. We've got another minute. We'll give everybody a couple more minutes to jump in here, and we'll be ready to go with History to the Stars. I hope everyone is having, I say a good weekend, but do we really know what day it is? Probably not. Let me know in the comments if this video is hitching or being weird like it was last time, and I will do my best to try to fix it from my end. I spent the weekend trying to figure out exactly how to make this work very smoothly. Hopefully it works. Let me know if the sound is working, if the video is working, all that stuff. So again, I hope everybody had a great weekend. For those of you who are watching who are not part of our Facebook family or have never been to the Northern Rockies Museum, my name is Tara. I work there with my amazing boss, Madison. And, oh, excellent. Thank you, Ryan. So we are going to start with the Mystery Suitcase. I know that Madison told you what the objects were, but in case you missed it, I thought I would let everybody know. So this one, do you guys remember seeing it? The butter press. This is a butter press. Sometimes it would have engraving on the bottom that would mark what family made what product. So you could tell whose butter it was by what the image was. And then this was a blowtorch. Very old school form of a blowtorch. Not particularly safe, at least not to today's standards, certainly. So for this week, our two new mystery items is actually one from my house. My children go out with their dad and do what we call treasure hunting, and we find these. Does anyone have an idea of what this is? Any thoughts? Beautiful clear glass, has a hole in the bottom. It's got some ridges along the top. It's very heavy. Some people use them as doorstops now because they are quite weighty. So in the comments, let me know what you think it is. And the next item, this one's looks like this. It's got screws along the bottom where something attaches, and then it's got these reddish pink rods, and then on the back it has wax. What do you guys think this might be? This dial on the front, it comes off like this. Any thoughts? Put them in the comments below. I would love to hear what you think this is. So this and this. Any thoughts? So for those of you who have been with us since last week, I have my happy thought jar here. I hope you have been putting happy thoughts into your jar. I put one in this morning that I get to spend time doing this, which is a nice break from hanging out in my house and cleaning and apparently shoveling snow. If you live in Hinton, you look out your window, you know what I'm talking about. This is miserable. Although I'm sure Maddie and Edson is saying about time because they've had plenty of snow, whereas we have not. So for today, as you can see beside me, I have the supply list. The printable that I'm talking about is our Constellation book. It has this lovely merged Voyager and astronaut, and then it has stories of constellations with pictures. And we're going to go through them today. So I am going to change the screen again, and I am going to bring up my presentation. Perfect, it's working, yay. So you can open up your Constellation book, and we are going to find Cassiopeia. She is one of my favorite stars in the sky. So here's Cassiopeia, and actually I'm going to change this again so it's nice and big so you guys can see it much better. Wrong one. There we go. Oh, I forgot to change these. My bad. It's all right. So Cassiopeia, which you can kind of see looks like a W in the night sky, was a queen of great beauty. And she was placed in the sky as punishment after enraging Poseidon, who was the god of the sea, with the boast that her daughter Andromeda was way more beautiful than the Naiads, which were his sea nymphs. So she is now forced to wheel around the North Celestial Pole on her throne, spending half of her time clinging to it so she doesn't fall off. This constellation is 10,000 light years away from us and has 172 stars in it, and it produces the most astronomical radio sources in the sky. So what that means is, have you guys ever seen the movie Contact? I'm sure your parents have. Or have you seen the big radio array? It looks like big satellite dishes in the middle of the desert. Do you know what they're looking for? They're actually not looking for anything. They're listening for astronomical radio sources to show signs of life of ET. Does anybody know what ET is? It's an older reference. You guys may not have seen that movie. Extraterrestrial life. They're looking for aliens, which is pretty cool. So there are 1,000 different stories of what each astronomical constellation in the sky means. So we also have some indigenous stories. So another story for the W in the sky that we call Cassiopeia is Panocha. So a hunter known for his skill set out to find meat for his family, and he hoped to find an elk. Elders told him of a great elk who was seen running, but no one was brave enough or quick enough to kill him. The hunter tracked this great elk for days, and once he found him, he threw his spear with great accuracy and strength, and he took that elk. The meat was perfect and enough to feed his entire village. They wanted to honor this great elk, so they took great care with the hide and threw it into the sky where the light shines through the stake holes that they use to dry the hide now. And that's why you see the W in the sky that we call Cassiopeia or Panocha. And for those of you who are in Alberta, I bet you could look on a map and find a town called Cassiopeia. So now I'm going to move to Orion. And Orion looks like a giant or a man with shoulders and a shirt and a belted waist. And in Orion, you can find the Horsehead Nebula. I'm going to show you a beautiful picture of the Horsehead Nebula. When we look at this picture, can any of you see the horsehead? I'm circling it, so hopefully you can. Absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite nebula. I think it's stunning. And so there you go. That's in Orion. So when you look up and you see Orion, you're actually seeing this without even knowing it. Gorgeous. So the brightest star in Orion is 773 light years away from Earth, and its brightness is 40,000 times that of our sun, and it emits 100,000 times the energy produced by our sun. It's amazing. I think it's amazing. So I don't want to mutilate names, so I'm going to try. Wisakachak, maybe? I've listened to pronunciations, but I'm terrible with them. So Inuit nations tell of 3 belt stars called Ulaktat, 3 hunters. While the fainter stars below, which are the feet when we look at him and he's a man, were the children carrying clothes for their father. And then there are other stories where he is called Harpooner of Heaven, and he paddles a canoe and has a box that releases a frog when he opens it. And an otter that Harpooner of Heaven hunted escaped to the sky and became the Pleiades. And the Sioux, speaking tribes of the northern Great Plains, describe Orion as a hand. Twin boys had a mother who was killed by an evil trickster called the Red Woman. So they grew their skills and decided to take on the Red Woman. As they pursued and overtook her, she reached into the sky as a final desperate attempt to escape, and the twins cut off her hand at the wrist before destroying her. But her hand hangs up in the sky, and we can still see it in what we call Orion, which I think is pretty cool. Thanks, Malaya. I think it's pretty cool too. So we're going to head back out, and we are going to look at Ursa Major. Ursa Major is known as the Big Dog, and it is a constellation in the northern sky. And if you look at it, can you guys make out the shape of a dog? Sometimes it's hard to see it, but the way that we've highlighted it in the picture should make it a little bit easier. It can be used as a pointer because the North Star, or Polaris, is in this shape. And the constellation has 13 stars with their own solar systems and orbiting planets. So it's one of the solar systems that we look at to see if there's anything in space like Earth, anything at all. It's one of the areas that we look at pretty closely. And I am not going to try and pronounce that. So in Ursa Major, the story from some indigenous stories that we found is a woman lived with her little sister, 7 brothers, and father. And each day, when the brothers and father would leave for the hunt, she would leave her little sister at the camp and steal away to meet with her love, who was a bear. Her little sister discovered their relationship and told her father. The brothers and father found the bear, and they killed him. The woman was so angry when she learned that her love was dead, she transformed into a bear. The brothers and father returned from hunting to an empty village. She roared that she would get them for killing her love, the bear. The brothers had nowhere to go to escape. One of the brothers had strong medicine and decided that they should go to the sky to escape. They all went up to the northern night sky. The brother with the great medicine is the North Star, and the 6 brothers and the little sister can be seen in the Big Dipper. So some people also see him as a bear, which I think is pretty cool. And then the final one that we're going to look at is Ursa Minor. Ursa Minor is the Little Dipper. And it's a circumpolar constellation, which means it goes around the North Pole in a big circle, and it helps point to the North Star, or Polaris. And Polaris is 434 light years away from the Earth. Polaris always points to true north, and it remains a steady point in the sky because it never changes its position. So, the story about Ursa Minor is that long ago people didn't have dogs. Marauders or animals could enter the camp and terrorize or take from the people because they had no warning system. The wolf, coyote, and fox saw these struggles, and they were concerned, so they held council, and it was decided that 2 of each of them would go and live amongst the peoples. 2 puppies from each of them was sent. The animals adapted and changed to suit their lives with humans. All dogs alive today are from these puppies, given as gifts. These dogs guard our homes, children, and food. Polaris is the anchor for the dog leash, and as the night progresses, the dog walks around this anchor and protects the camp. The bowl of the Dipper represents the puppies that were sent to the 4 directions of humankind. I think it's pretty fascinating stuff. So we are going to start our craft now. So I'm going to quickly switch it over so you only see me for a second. Hi. So we are going to start our craft, and you can do it with paper. I've pre-made one. If you don't have our kit with the wooden block because you didn't get a chance to get one, totally fine. You can do it with paper. So as a printable, we've included a cube printout. It has 6 sides, and you just cut it out, and then we're going to color it, and we're going to make one of these constellation cubes. If you have our glow-in-the-dark cube kit, they're going to end up looking like these. This one is mine. You can see some of the constellations I've put up. And then these ones are my daughter's. So they're all unique, they're all special, and they all look really cool. So we're going to start making those. So what I need you to get is your glow-in-the-dark tape and your wooden block or your cube printable. You're going to follow the same directions once we get past putting the glow-in-the-dark tape onto our block. So the first thing I want you to do is to line up the tape along the side, and then you're going to cut it so that it fits that side, peel off the back, and stick it on, okay? And Brennan is sitting below us doing it too. There she was. So you're just going to cut it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can trim it up later. So here we go. Did anybody else like space? I love space. Especially now that we're stuck in our house, we can all look up at the same sky. And it reminds us that we're all in this together and we're all sharing the same space. So it's important that we all work together, stay inside, and keep each other safe. So I peeled off the back, and I'm now going to stick it onto my cube. And we're going to do that to all 6 sides. Okay, if you have any questions, type them in. Maddie's sitting here ready to answer questions. And I'm sitting here, I can answer you too. So put your questions in the comment section if you're curious how this is working. If you have the cube, you can cut it out and get it ready to do your coloring. So we're going to do that to every single side of the cube. And these are fun. They glow really bright. And if you're doing it on paper with the black and white, it actually shows up really well, even if you don't have glow in the dark. And if you don't tape the whole thing shut, you can sneak a tea light inside it, and then it really glows. So don't worry if you're not as quick as me. It's not a problem. You can replay this video and catch up to me on your own time. I hope everyone is doing well, staying at home, staying safe, washing your hands a lot. Are anyone else's hands really dry from all their hand washing? I know mine are. Mine get really, really dry from all this hand washing, but it's very important. I was very disappointed to see all the snow. I love snow. I want to go outside and play in it, and I can't. Because I'm trying to be responsible and stay inside, especially because I have elderly neighbors. I want to make sure they stay safe because they're lovely. All right, so I've got 4 sides. I've got 4 sides ready to go. I got 2 more to go. How's it working for everybody? Is it challenging? Is it too much? Let me know. Oh, I dropped my glow-in-the-dark tape there. Oh, it's handy to have a kid sitting on the floor. She picks it up for me. Thanks, doll. Are you guys doing anything fun during quarantine? I know we had some baking last week. What are you baking? Inspire me. I know that Brennan has decided that she makes tiny treats, which she gives away to people who are still working and taking care of us. And but they're all colored blue. Blue cookies, blue cheesecake bites, blue cake, everything is blue.
They're delicious.
They're good though. As Temperance said, they're delicious. Okay, I've got all 6 sides. So we're going to start coloring. You can trim it up if you want. Get it nice and close. So the first thing that I want you to do is take your fat Sharpie marker. Everybody who got the kit from us has a skinny marker and a fat marker. So I want you to take the fat one. And I just want you to color the edges of your cube. We're just going to get the edges colored in first. Just the seams where all those pieces of tape are meeting. Okay? All of them. Your fingers might get a little bit messy here. Did I pick a Sharpie that's a bit of a dud? I might have. Okay, so if there's 4 sides to a square, and there are 6 squares on every dice, how many sides do we have to color? Can anybody do that math that's watching me? 6 times 4. Who's got it?
24.
Oh, my own daughter got it. 24. So 24 sides we're going to quickly color in just to get the edges done. If you are using paper at home, you can outline the edges of your cubes as well. So there we go. Oh, that's Edgar. He's a turd, and he gets into everything. So now we are going to take our skinny marker, and I'm going to change the screen so that you guys can see the constellations. For those of you who have the printable in front of you, you can use that. But for those of you who don't, we have these. So these are the outlines. Hopefully you can see them. Let me know if you want them bigger and you want to put me smaller in the bottom corner. But what we're going to do is, oh, I forgot that printable. Sorry. What? Oh, I know what I've got. Never mind. Bear with me here. What we are going to do on our cube is take our small marker. Oh, I did it again. I keep shutting off the screen. Okay. I'm not going to touch that anymore. We're going to use, and we're going to draw a circle for the star. You guys all see this? And say I'm doing Cassiopeia, which, as I said, is one of my favorites. I'm going to draw the circles for her stars, and then I'm going to draw tubes to connect them. Just like this. So you're going to pick your favorite constellations. I've included 7. You only need 6, and there are different ones. You can look them up online. But I'm going to draw the tubes to make the constellation. Oh, that was a terrible line. I shouldn't be drawing things. This should be Maddie. Oh, I'm terrible. And then we're going to color in the outside of the tubes. Don't color inside, because that's what's going to glow. That's your constellation. So you're going to color in black all the way around it. Okay? So that what you see is the constellation. Does that help? Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if it doesn't. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's do one side together, okay? So I'm going to take my little Sharpie, and on one side of my cube, I'm going to very carefully, your hands might get messy doing this, so make sure that you let the Sharpie dry, because you're going to get it quite wet with Sharpie before you handle it too much. It doesn't take long to dry, but your hands might get a little bit messy. Make sure that when you're working with Sharpies, you are not coloring on top of your mom's favorite table, because it will mark it. Although the trick to getting Sharpie off of anything, which I have learned, is to use dry erase markers. Color on top of it, it usually will come right off.
I told her that.
Temperance saw that. Obviously, it depends what surface we're talking about, but if it's just like a table, you can quite often get it off. So, can you see? I've drawn my Cassiopeia, because as I've said, oh, there, the glare. I've drawn Cassiopeia, and now I'm going to color around the outside of it. So I'm just going to do the one side with you very carefully, because as we've already proven, I am not excellent at drawing, but I do love science, and I do love these glow cubes. I think they are really, really fun. You can play with them as a regular die. You can say, if it lands on Cassiopeia, you get 4 steps or something. There's lots of different ways that you can use these glow cubes. I just like them because they're so pretty. If you charge them in the window, they glow really, really bright. And they're just very fun and very pretty. I had one hung over my bed for a little while because it was just so pretty. And I just enjoyed it being there. So you can see I've shaped it out and I'm starting to color it in, okay? And if you've done this on your paper, exact same process. Oh, and I think my cat just flattened my cube. Oh, he did. My cat flattened my cube. He's fluffy and cute, but destructive. So if you're using a cube, don't put it near a cat who wants to sleep on it. But exactly the same process. You can see I've done Cassiopeia here, and I did my circles and my tubes, and then I colored on the outside. So exactly the same process. So we're just going to finish this up. And finish coloring here, just this one side. Let's see. Don't touch it while it's wet. You're going to regret it. Your hands will get grody. Have you guys been watching any good shows on Netflix? You got anything to recommend to me? Anything that I definitely need to be watching that maybe I'm not? All right, so there is my Cassiopeia. And you're going to do that to all the other 5 sides. Is there a particular constellation that you are looking forward to doing? Is there one that I don't have up here that maybe I should have, that you think is really pretty, but I didn't include it? Maybe. I've included Cancer. Does anybody know the zodiacs and they know which one is Cancer? Any thoughts on which one that is? Any suggestions on which one I should do next? How about I very quickly, we do one more together, and I do, oh, there's my skinny Sharpie on my lap desk. How about we do an easy one? We'll do Canis Minor, which is that straight line. Or sorry, yes, Canis Minor. There's Ursa Minor and Canis Minor, and I quite often get them confused. Canis Minor is little dog. And for some reason, when I did Ursa Major, I called it big dog. It's not. It's big bear. I don't know why I said that. It's also the Big Dipper. So much misinformation from me. My apologies, guys. I have Canis Major in this one, but I also have Big Bear, which is the Big Dipper. I separated the Big Dipper out so it looks like the Big Dipper here, but it can also look like a bear. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Again, I hope you guys are all doing really well in your self-isolating, washing your hands a lot, coughing into your elbows so that we can minimize the spread of this. It looks like Canada's doing very well. Let's keep it going, shall we? So as you can see, maybe I've got Canis Minor on there. And again, I drew the circle with the tubes, and then I'm going to color them around. Okay. So I'm going to just very quickly color it around. And when this is completely done, if you'll remember, all you're going to be able to see are the constellations, and that is what's going to glow. And as you use them, they kind of get a little worn on the side. Just color it in. You can fix it. Just a little Sharpie, and suddenly it's super dark again. Easy fix. Because it will get a little bit worn over time. But this one is, we made these in July, so we've had these for quite some time. So I think you guys have enough information to be able to finish your glow cubes all by yourself. If you have any questions, please send us a message. Maddie and I are more than happy to answer you. Tomorrow, we are going to be doing my History to the Stars program, where you are going to learn all of the similarities and differences between voyagers and astronauts. Why in the world would I combine those two? How in the world are they similar? I want you guys to think about it. Why would a voyager and an astronaut be similar? Why would I talk about them like that? Why would I include them together? Do you know what a voyager is? I'm pretty sure you all know what an astronaut is. But why are they similar? And how are they different? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to make a sextant, and we are also going to make a sundial. So if you guys are curious, before we do these things tomorrow, ask your mom and dad for permission to give it a little Google and see what they are. And then in your craft kits, we have those, and I will have the printables ready for everyone who didn't get our craft kits, ready to go probably by this afternoon, so that you have plenty of time to print them off. And again, we love being able to continue this programming from our homes. And if any of you are able, we would absolutely appreciate a donation so that we can continue doing this programming, because we have absolutely no idea how long this quarantine is going to continue for. So as always, much love, stay safe, and we will see you tomorrow.